Alright. Are we back, actually? Let me check before I start. Yeah, okay, we are live. Good. Yeah, so for anyone watching and then just saw us just disappear off the face of the YouTube live stream. We are live. Good. So my computer just crashed because Windows 10 decided it's time for an update. So I got a blue screen of death from a Windows program, and then I just had to sit through an entire Windows 10 update. But we're back. I can continue talking about the Bruce Campbell. Not Bruce Campbell. Every time I think Campbell, I think Bruce. The J. Scott Campbell artwork thing. But we'll just wrap this up real quick. But bottom line is, I just don't ever be so pretentious and have the chutzpah to think you can fix someone else's artwork. It's one thing to think, okay, I don't like his art, or his art is bad, or whatever. Fine, then do something yourself to try and top it. Don't fix something, because that's just demeaning to him, and it makes you look like an ass. That's all I'm going to say on that. It's just rude. I mean, how would I feel? I can answer that. I would not like it if someone decided to go, you know what, this isn't good. It needs this, this, and that, and then they decided to change it. And this is being my Venom drawing here on I made this. I would hate it if someone decided to, fix it. It's demeaning. It's hurtful. But I mean, look, I can fix it because I feel like I've done some things wrong. I need to clean it up a bit, but yeah. Anyway, it's just it's a stupid situation, and it's just another case of here's someone that thinks they know better and are gonna fix it. Again, I said I'm not a personal fan of the cover art itself. That doesn't make it bad art. It's not for me. That doesn't mean that it's bad. And if I'm not gonna go ahead. I'm not gonna go around and fix it because I don't like it. That's just a stupid move. So
I think it was a kid that did it though.
Is it really?
Yeah, someone who's really young.
The reason he's getting where's the article up?
Getting so much pushback. Not the kid, but the artist, because he went on Twitter and was trying to shame the kid or something like that.
The artist, apparently the artist had to apologize for something. But here's the original. My fixing of. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to go into this whole thing because I do want to shut it down soon, just because of the whole crash stuff killed my mood. It's yikes. That's the amount of gall to fix it. Kind of annoying to me. That'd be like someone going over data to your music, like someone tried to fix your music. You'd hate that.
Yeah, I mean, anybody going and trying to change someone else's art is
it's one thing to offer constructive criticism, or hey, what if you did this, or do you think you can do something for me? It's one thing if you do that, but to just go ahead and fix something they already made, that's not cool.
Well, it's not fixing it; it's changing it. And to say that you're
quote unquote fixing it, yeah, sorry,
just shows your own arrogance.
And then on top of that, apparently YouTube removes so Clownfish TV. This is a YouTube channel. I know these guys, but they featured the artwork, the original artwork, on their thumbnail, and apparently it says YouTube removes Clownfish TV thumbnail featuring the artwork because it violated nudity and sexual content policies, which is the biggest load of shit I've heard, I think, today, which is saying something. And I've streamed Cyberpunk with full nudity and sex scenes, so and those streams are still up.
Well, did you have?
It was rated 18 and up. Yeah, it was 18 and up.
Settings, so you have to sign in and.
Yeah. That's the 18 and up settings. 18. Yeah. But
so
still,
the thumbnail can be viewed by anybody. That's probably.
I was going to say, the thumbnail doesn't matter, and that's here. Look, this is it. They actually took a screenshot for us here. And the violation is if you are posting genitals, breasts, or buttocks, clothed or unclothed. That's such a wow. Like, so essentially, we can't put any pictures of anyone up on thumbnails now.
What they mean by that is
I know. But still, that's kind of like okay. So you because something tells me that they're probably saying the same things we are, and that this is just a load of crap. And why is this happening at all? And because YouTube is usually more on the side of the left, and they don't and you disagree with the left, they cancel you and all that. And then here you have J. Scott Campbell apologizes for his statement describing Comicsgate, whatever that is, as alt-right hate group. I don't know what the story is here, but I will put it. All these links I'm going to put in the comment section as I always do. Obviously, it's going for a sexualized look here, and these are Marvel pinups are always sexualized, but they're very stylized and all that, and that's fine. But it's good art. I'm not. It's good art. You'd be blind to say otherwise. It's not for me, and that doesn't mean it's bad. And I don't think it deserves changing, let alone contentious fiction. Morons will be morons, right? So I think I'm end it here.
It's an interesting thing. You can draw a parallel between somebody who doesn't like the art and wants it to be what they want it to be, and kind of the game culture where people get angry at a developer because they don't make the game that the person wants to play. It's kind of the same thing. The idea behind it is largely the same.
Like how so, though? Like, elaborate.
Well, so say this person, whoever it was that decided to change the art, say they're a huge Spider-Man fan, and they really like the comic, but they don't like how over-sexualized it is. So for them, they would like a less sexualized comic where they can still enjoy the story.
All right.
That's not too much different than people getting angry at a game company because they make a game a certain way, and it's the feeling of being disfranchised. I'm not saying that whoever changed the article.
I think this case it's a little different, but I get what you're saying totally, and that's
you can totally draw a parallel there.
It wouldn't be the most accurate parallel, but you can draw it. Yeah.
But there's a feeling that I hear people saying all the time where it's like they feel disfranchised because something isn't exactly the way they want it.
It's the sense of entitlement.
Yeah, I'm noticing it more and more.
For me, again, the problem I have with this isn't look, I don't you want to make it sexualized, whatever, fine. I don't care. I just don't like it that okay, why? My problem with this whole thing is why are you changing something that was seemingly no one cared about 10 years ago, or 2 years ago for that matter, or 5 months ago, or 3 days ago for that matter, or whatever it was, a week ago, and B, it's just the act of changing artwork, because again, as being an artist myself, and you being a musical artist yourself, I just don't like the idea of someone going over to someone else's work and just changing it. Just because it's the same argument as what happened with Halo with the art style. I imagine all those concept artists and everything at Bunt that created the original Halo art style are pissed at 343 when they changed it, just for change, for no better reason and all that. It's because it's
in this case specifically, I really think it's just the person who changed their art was trying to say, hey, look what I did.
Yeah. not the way to go about it. But it's just like me. I don't care. Like, fine, you don't like it sexualized, and you made like your own version of that comic story, but with your own art and all that. That's great. That's fine. It'd be like I guess like a fan comic or like Like, it wouldn't be the first time, that someone's redrawn past panels and all that. Like, it happens all the freaking time in Spider-Man comics. And you'd have, like, Mark Bagley redrawing the origins of the black suit and the symbiote, through flashbacks or something like that. And it's happened before. It happens all the time. That's fine. But when you're doing something like, here's change because I don't like it being sexualized and it's misogynistic and then blah, 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 blah. No, not okay. Especially when all your claims of misogyny and all that are just a load of shit. Like, and it being it's sexualized, but I would hardly say it's over sexualized. It's trying to be like, cutesy and art and stylized. That's fine. Again, not for me, but that doesn't make it bad. It just means it's not for me. Personally speaking. But moving on to... And as for the video game parallel, though, yeah, like, I'd wager it is a little different. You can draw a parallel. I don't think it's an accurate one, but you can do it, for argument's sake. But just here it's a different situation. Like, my problems with this isn't, like, it just... I don't... Yeah, whatever. Look, you didn't have a problem with this, like, a week ago. Why is it all of a sudden a huge problem? Because you guys needed something to cancel on this. This was on your list, I guess. I don't know. It's just for them. It's for whoever it is to stay relevant, or to become relevant, for that matter.
I don't know. There's too many variables that we don't know to really say why it happened, but it's a stupid story that shouldn't be as big as it is, really.
Agreed. And it's making waves that it shouldn't be either. Yeah, it's too stupid to be this big. Under normal circumstances, which haven't existed for like the last 5 years, this would be like, I don't know, like it would be a one-off story that someone said, and it's like, okay, and then like no one would care. Like the artists would be pissed, and rightfully so, but it wouldn't. Yeah. But moving on, we have Zack Snyder weighs in on the idea of a black Superman from J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates, or whatever the hell it is. And so, for anyone who doesn't know, J.J. Abrams is about to Abramboozle Superman with this new Superman movie he's making, where Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing it, and they want to cast a black Superman because apparently we have to race swap all the white characters because we don't have any good black characters to use. Or they're incompetent and unable to create black characters to use. And Man of Steel director Zack Snyder, also director of the Justice League Snyder Cut, as well as Batman vs. Superman, is weighing in on the rumored race-swapped Superman coming to us from J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot and Captain America writer Ta-Nehisi Coates. In a recent interview with Radio Times, Snyder admitted he not only likes Abrams but also approves of the Black Kal-El idea, calling it long overdue and a bold move. Yeah, that doesn't sound like virtue signaling at all. My feeling is that I love JJ. I love what he's done and done in the past, and I'm interested to see what happens. It's bold and cool and probably long overdue move. Snyder was quick to additionally remind everyone, though, how much he loves Henry Cavill as Superman too, saying, "But I love Henry as Superman, of course I do, he's my Superman." So this just sounds like a fluff piece to me, I mean. So, it's just a lot of virtue signaling? I mean, that's all. I'm not getting it, like, there's no real, I'm just reading it so far, there's no real information here. It's just, okay, so he's on board with it, but he still wants Superman to be the guy he had as Superman, understandably. Okay, cool. I still hate the idea of race swapping characters for nothing better than you're race swapping them because you need to have black people on screen in a it's what Cam was saying, it's bigotry. If we were race swapping Black Panther, people would lose their minds. So why race swap? But it's okay to race swap white people because that's fine. That's not racist at all. Sorry but it's racist either way you do it.
It's kind of more of that disenfranchised thing, right? They think that, well, I'm not going to say they, but there's some people that feel that there aren't enough. How can I say this without being
Without sounding racist. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I just stopped caring. It's just, I know what you mean. Yeah, like it's.
But there is something to be said for seeing characters on screen that you can relate to. I totally understand that sentiment.
Right, but I don't subscribe to the idea
pictures that are made for an African American audience that I don't enjoy because there's nothing there that I can relate.
But I don't subscribe to the idea that you have to have a character that like, okay, I can only relate to a black character. No, not at all. Like or a white character, whatever it is. Like you can only relate to a character that looks like you. I think is a load of shit.
Yeah. There are some black actors that I really enjoy.
My favorite character from Alien is Parker.
Yeah. I really like the Falcon and the Avengers.
Yeah, he's Sam Wilson's a great character. Rhodey also is a good character that they underutilize.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing, in regards to, like, Superman and DC characters, you have a bunch of characters that they just straight up don't use because they're not as popular as the big name ones, and therefore we need to race up the big name ones so that this way you have the brand recognition, but it's what what is the reasoning that you're race swapping him? Like, because to me it just looks like a lot of virtue signaling and bullshit. Like, there's no actual reason other than political correctness.
Yeah.
Nick Fury. Nick Fury is technically race swapped. He's a tokenized character. The movie version. And yes, it's based off of the Ultimate Comics version, where in the Ultimate Comics he was black, and he's actually based, like, the Ultimate Comics version of Nick Fury visually is based off of Samuel L. Jackson's appearance in Shaft, in the Shaft movie he was in. Because it came out 2000, so it was like, that was popular at the time. But the original Nick Fury was white. And the reason why, like, no one really has a problem is because it's still the same character. And Samuel does a great performance. But also because of Ultimate Comics. If there was no Ultimate Comics version of Nick Fury and they just decided to race swap him, we would not, it would be a totally different situation. And I think that's the problem, is that you're just like, here it was okay, it was an alternate universe. Ultimate Comics was meant to be different. It was meant to be like a, what if Marvel Comics didn't start up in the 60s, like, or like all the characters didn't start up in the 60s but started up in 2000. That was the idea. That was the birth of Ultimate Comics. Or Marvel's Ultimate Comics, I should say. So that's why everyone's different. Like, it was supposed to be different. It's supposed to be a reboot without actually rebooting things.
Yeah.
And okay, fine. So you're basing, and the thing is, like, the movies, the characters are based off of, various different interpretations of the characters. They're not all based on Ultimate or the mainstream. Some are based off of, like, like XYZ universe version or whatever. Like, it's not all just the one version. And that's fine. But when you're not doing that. Here you're just race swapping because we need to have a black Superman for political correctness. I don't even know why. Why are you race swapping him? What's the reason? Why is it, aside from virtue signaling? I don't know.
Yeah,
to me, if you want a black character, create a new black character.
Yeah.
Like, don't rely on tokenized versions of characters. Like I'm personally not a huge fan of Black Nick Fury. Like I know a lot of people like him. I don't, not because it's race swap, just because it's a different character. And yeah, I mean it's the same character as like the Ultimate version, the movie version. I mean. But personally, I prefer the original version. That's the one I grew up with. That was Nick Fury to me. That was, you know, he was also. Yeah, I mean, it's a little dated, but he was original Nick Fury was a World War II vet. But you know, they kind of later, as time went on, kind of explained it away by like he found some kind of like you know, de-aging cream bullshit or whatever. But like he aged slower or something like that. So like in '90s, he still looked like he was a man in his 40s or 50s. But the whole thing here with like let's race swap Superman. In the comics, they race swapped Batman, and there's no reason for it. It's like to me, it's disingenuous. It's lazy and it's insulting because you're also insulting the creators of these characters. You're changing them for no other reason than change. And Love is in the chat saying, "Have you seen how they changed the females in Mortal Kombat 11? They sexualized everyone. Males stayed shirtless and ripped and untouched." Wait, that makes no sense. I thought, from what I heard, Mortal Kombat 11 was they desexualized the women, but kept the sexualized men. Yeah, okay, sorry. He says desexualized. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And Love says, being black, I don't care about black Superman. I love regular Superman. Creating new black characters is definitely the better option. Yeah, there you have it. Like, that's not what... People don't want race-swapped characters and tokenized characters because it's lazy, disingenuous, and it's insulting. What people want are just good characters. Doesn't matter. No one cares about what the character... Like...
Well, clearly some people care what the
right, but
looks like, but I don't think it's the majority of people that care.
You know what I mean? It's not.
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
I don't need this on the screen anymore. Hold on. You don't. Changing characters for the sake of change is counter. Like especially since they claim they're doing it for representation and diversity and stuff, but all you're doing is race swapping a character. You're not being diverse. You're not being representative. You're being a bigot, and you're also proving your incapability of being creative.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, and that's another thing too. Is like you have all these black. Like you really need a black character on screen in your movie or TV show or what have you. You have. Marvel and DC specifically have thousands of characters of all different ethnicities and what have you. You know, like, okay, X-Men, you got Storm, Bishop, why am I blanking on his name? Damn it. Shadow King's Egyptian, but same, you know, whatever. And then you have, for the Avengers, you've got Black Panther, you've got War Machine, you've got, I guess if you're going from various rosters, early 2000s, you had Goliath. You know, it was like Goliath was a name Ant-Man went by at one point, but it was passed on to another character who they actually had, I think in one of the Ant-Man movies, I think Lawrence Fishburne played the character that in the comics was Goliath. Early 2000s. But, you know, you have these, you know, big name, like, DC, Static Shock, Steel, Black Lightning, Cyborg, John Stewart Green Lantern, who's, in my opinion, the best Green Lantern, because of the Justice League cartoon. Also, Vixen, right, in terms of female superheroes. Captain Marvel, the second Captain Marvel of Marvel Comics, because the first one was a male who's an alien, And then the second one was Monica Rambeau. It was a black chick with light powers. You know, she can move at the speed of light. She had like, you know, light blasts or whatever. You know, she shoot lasers, all that stuff, and flight. You know, like you can use that. Like, you have all these characters that you're just not using. And I'm just naming the more popular ones. Like, I feel like they're also letting like the popularity of the character stop them, which is funny considering how the MCU got started. They started off with a B character, Iron Man. But
somebody somewhere did a whole lot of what do they call it, polls and stuff, and figured that Iron Man was the best one to go with starting out.
No, that was not why they did it. That was because they did it because at the time Iron Man was like one of the few good characters they had access to. Because all the big name popular characters were being licensed off to other studios. Fantastic Four and X-Men and were with Fox. Hulk and Ghost Rider and Punisher were with Universal. Spider-Man was with Sony. So all their big name characters were with other studios. So all they had left was Iron Man, Cap, and really the basic Avengers, which were never really as popular as the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spidey. But look, they managed to do it anyways. Now that's.
I never read the comic. Was Iron Man supposed to be? Was his character the way Robert Downey Jr. played him, or was that just their?
In the early 2000s, yes. The original version of the character, no. The original version of the character was an ass at times, but he was not. He was actually a good person deep down. Like, and not in the way like that they portrayed in the films. Like, he was in the original comics, Tony Stark founded S.H.I.E.L.D. or helped found S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, he was like, yeah, he was also like a weapons manufacturer and all that, but it was not the same as in the films. It was a very different character. They were definitely going with the more modern take of the character, like the 2003 to 2008 depiction of Iron Man, which, by the way, is not the same Iron Man as the classic comics from '63 to '95, because in 1995, classic Iron Man was killed by King the Conqueror and never brought back, instead replaced by a younger, like 19-year-old version of Tony from another dimension. And then they just had them like accelerated the age in like 1999 or something. That's the Tony Stark that you've been reading for the last God knows how long. So, original Tony's dead. Has been for a few decades now. And he was a good character. Like, if you want some good Iron Man stories that show you really how different Tony Stark in the movies and the comics are, read some stuff like Iron Man War Games. The story is called War Games. But it's a story from like 1990, I want to say 91. You know, like, those are some good stories. You know, the story where he, yeah, because there's also the story where he creates War Machine and all that, and him and Rhodey have a bit of a falling out, in 1990, I want to say 93. But yeah, it's a very different version of the character. Like, in terms of like characters from the comics and the movies, Cap is kind of the only one they got right. Well, I mean, like, consistently. Like, Tony they got right for the version they were going with. But if you compare it to the original, not really. Cap, yeah, he was kind of like the original Cap. Love says, keeping it nice and controversial. I hope your channel grows, dude. We need more truth tellers. Yeah, I just don't like the, you know, change for the sake of change. And as for like, you know,
this isn't even change for the sake of change.
It's
though.
virtue signaling, yeah. which it's the political correctness. It's that whole left, like that political propaganda nonsense that has been infecting pop culture for the last decade.
I mean,
or so.
how many Superman movies have there been so far? I mean, I can understand the director saying, "Let's change things up because everything else has been done already." But that's
right, like you don't want to read, you don't want to do the same thing again. Fine, but this is not that. This is not that. This is not that at all. Like the Man of Steel was what they, that is what they did with Man of Steel. Like, okay, everything else has been done. Like, we don't want to do the same thing. We're going to do something different with Superman. And that's what they did with Man of Steel. It was, it was an origin, but it was a very different take on the character. But it was still, sort of still Superman. I mean, it was a very weird version of Superman, if you ask me. Especially with the whole father thing. Like, where it's like, no, don't save me from the tornado that you can easily save me from, and no one would see you at all. Like, yikes. I mean, that's what I liked about the original film, where it's like his dad dies of a heart attack. Because for all his powers, he couldn't have saved his father from that. There's nothing he could have done. And that's the whole point. It was a humanizing moment for Superman. But, yeah, that this is not how to go about it. Plus, I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff that Ta-Nehisi Coates has done with Captain America, but it's like in the comics, but it's very, very politicized and very Captain America has to be told about.
He turned Red Skull into Jordan.
Yeah, that he did that. He also had several issues going about how Cap has to be told about his white privilege and all that sort of nonsense.
Yeah, I got no time for that bullshit.
Exactly. No one should. And that's the thing is, I don't you want to give me a black Superman? You ever hear of the character Steel? Yeah, they did that really shitty movie in the, 90s with Shaq? Shaquille O'Neal? Not the best example, but the character is pretty much, he's like a mix between Superman in terms of characteristics and ideals, but he's like DC's knockoff Iron Man. In terms of what he his powers and all that, because he's a guy in a suit, and flies and stuff like that. He was one of the characters during the Reign of the Superman arc after Superman died in 1994 during the whole Death of Superman thing, and he's a good character. He's an intelligent character. He's a likable character. He's a family man and all that. There's your character. Do a movie about that guy and do it right this time. Don't have the Shaq in it. Don't have a shitty costume. You need a Superman, a black Superman character. There you go. This dude literally filled in for Superman when he was dead. There's your character. But, of course they're not going to do that. And that's the thing too, is that they're gonna do it, and they're gonna do a film about how great he is, and all it's just gonna be super heavy-handed, preachy, and politicized. No one wants that.
I really hope it doesn't turn out to be people looking down and not accepting him because of his.
Oh my god, that would be horrible. It's going to be. Let's be honest.
I mean, if they did it well and represent what Superman is supposed to be, I don't care if he's white or black.
Yeah, but that's not what they're gonna do, and you know it.
I mean, that's probably not with it being Ta-Nehisi Coates. So.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
This is the guy that made a book that's getting that he turned into a Warner Brothers documentary or something about how America is evil or something. And that's the whole thing too. Is they're doing this because what's the reasoning they do a lot of this stuff, like the race swapping, is because there's not enough black representation on screen, and they treat and they do it because they treat black people as they're the victim, and that's the thing. When you apparently, according to these people, across the various articles you and I have read, over the course of this show, they're always talking about how white supremacy, and if you're white you're evil, and if you're black you're a victim. It doesn't matter if you actually are or not. It's just because of your skin color, you are X. And that, in itself, is racist. But...
Well, it's kind of funny, because that means that there's no such thing as a hero. You can't be a hero if you're a victim.
Yeah.
And
well, tell that to Batman. That's actually kind of one of the things I love about Batman, is here's a victim who's using what happened to him
but
as like a sense of strength, a source of
the
strength.
way you're talking about it, though, it's.
Oh, I know. I'm just
Victimhood is a
making fun of like
mindset,
how you're saying that
something.
there are no superheroes because you're technically all victims or something like that. Like, whereas, well, we
Yeah.
have Batman.
But that's a mindset.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people who aren't black who have a victim mindset, and it's infuriating. And
And actually, another thing too is like you're being told you're a victim because of your skin color. Like that's not
Yeah.
that can't be healthy. Like just as it's not healthy for you're being told you're evil because of your skin color. Like that's like how's that any different from back in 1860 during the Civil War? Like anyone remember what we fought for there? Or during 1960s with the Civil Rights Act, Civil Rights Movement. But oh well, I guess history is being forgotten, and we're repeating the same mistakes over and over again. Yay. Don't you love it when you can't talk about comics nowadays because it's all politicized and full of propaganda
I was
and bullshit?
never a fan of comics. I don't think I may never have even read a comic in my lifetime. I'm not
Okay, so
sure. So
I don't care.
For me,
I mean, like
doesn't.
that. Look, comics. I'm not gonna. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh no, comics aren't my thing, and that's fine. Like I don't. You don't have to read comics. I'm just saying, like, it sucks that you can't talk about something that's supposed to be entertainment, supposed to be escapism, without talking about real world politics because it's infected with it.
Anything.
And that's it just like it shouldn't be the case. It's escapism. It's not supposed to have real world stuff in it. And like I mean, it's one thing if you're using you have an analogy for something in your book. Like I think one of the Star Trek movies had an analogy of the fall of the Soviet Union with the like peace between the Klingons and the Federation and all that. But the way they did it was like, okay, here's an analogy. Like it was an analogy. It was a kind of it was a reference, but it wasn't just like preaching in your face about why it was good and why it was evil and blah blah blah. It was kind of just like a mirror, It was a mirror within a sci-fi world. Here we're getting just like preaching about real world politics in your fiction and in your escapism, making it no longer escapism because you're essentially just reading about real world politics, really bad art and horrible writing. Yay. I mean, don't you love it when you can't talk? Oh, no, I'm sorry, but it's just I just miss like quality entertainment where like you get like like again like when we were talking about Star Citizen, like yeah, Star Citizen has in-universe politics and all that, but it's not preaching and it's not either real world politics or in-universe politics. It's not. It's escapism. It's okay. We're in another universe where we're in space and it's in the 30th century and we're flying spaceships and shooting at each other and all that. Like that's the whole point. You're supposed to have a fun time. You're not supposed to be. You're not supposed to be receiving a lecture in written or movie form. You're just supposed to be having a fun time. You're supposed to be enjoying it. And when the enjoyment's sapped out by all this nonsense, it's just sucks.
Well, maybe people will eventually wake up and just stop
hope so.
giving them their money, and then it'll dry up.
I don't, but then again, I really don't have much money to give them in the first place. Unless you got anything else to add, I think we're done.
No, I really don't.
Alright, so you want to finish up?
Sure.
Yeah, that was...
Well, I guess if you look on the bright side, there are alternate studios that are starting to pop up that are going to start making movies and content. So, I mean, that are not woke. And they're specifically popping up because...
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because of all this propaganda nonsense.
So maybe we'll start getting some content that's not full of
Yeah.
political bullshit.
Well, that's the thing. It's because of all this political bullshit in media now, we're seeing the independent studios and independent, like, indie comics has, for the last 5 years, has exploded. Like, we're even getting big name artists and stuff like Ethan Van Sciver creating their own IPs and doing their own indie comic stuff, like with what he's doing with his Cyberpunk comic. You know, like we got the indie comic industry is now blowing up because people still want the medium of comics. People want comics. They want to read, you know, good comic books, but the mainstream guys are pumping out crap. So indie comics is the place to go, and it's happening with indie games as well, with a lot of, you know, for different reasons, sort of. Like some of the bigger gaming companies have started going some of the political correct stuff in some of the games, the EA with their Battlefield 5 and all that. But for the most part, indie games have also been blowing up as of late. Again, for different reasons, but they've been blowing up, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of independent TV and movie stuff soon. That's going to, you know, kind of see a spark and explode as well. Because again, when the guys that are making the stuff are crap, the only thing you can do is make it yourself. So I guess that's it. Oh, yeah. And I do hope we see some more independent stuff, more creative, more creations. Hell, like last night, I thought of starting something myself. I mean, you and I have been toying with making like a Star Citizen series for going on like, I don't know, 4 years now, something like that.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, like if you don't like something, if you don't like what's being created and put out there in terms of entertainment, the best thing you can do is start making your own. Because odds are it's definitely going to be better than what we're getting. And on that note, I think we're going to end the episode here. So, yeah, I guess everyone, thanks so much for watching. You know, whether you're watching this live or on the replay later, just want to say thanks. Thanks for watching, and more importantly, thanks for listening. You know, I want to thank guys in the chat like Love and Mega J1 and the Halo 29, who was in here earlier before the Windows 10 crash. And yeah, if you want to support us, you guys know the drill. You know, subscribe, share, give thumbs up, all that stuff. And if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down and tell us why in the comment section, because we're always interested in hearing feedback. And we're genuine. Like, we want to hear feedback. You know, if you guys didn't like something, let us know. Or if you have ideas or suggestions or what have you. The comment section's there for a reason. And yeah, if you want to support us in a more personal way, Data, you have your SoundCloud, right? Yeah. Hello.
Oh, do you have it on your?
You want to put a link in the Discord chat, or in a DM or something?
We can do it next time. That'll be alright.
Okay. Well, either way, you have your SoundCloud, which I will put. I guess later I can put a link into the comment section later and pin it. I'll put it in as part of the sources, this way people can see it. But you know, he makes music. Eventually, when Crusader comes out in Star Citizen, we do have to use one of your pieces. I'm kind of dead set on that now. And now I make logos and posters and stuff. If you guys want, if anyone needs a commission or something, you know, hit us up. Email is available. You can either hit me up on Discord, link to the Discord server is in the description below. And if you want, to hit me up and commission me for a logo or poster, banner, what have you, feel free to, because I need the money. Enjoy making art. Also, we have a merch store and an eBay store in the description below. The merch store. I'll actually show these things off instead of just talking about them. There, so that's the eBay store where I make my own posters and make them myself, print them myself, ship them myself. And here, and the merch store is loading because I have it on Chrome like an idiot. Do not use Teespring on Chrome. That's all I'm going to say. Just don't use it on Chrome. Use it on Firefox or whatever other browser you use. but we got a merch store here with various logos. Cam's new "What the frick frack snick snack patty whack give a dog a bone" kind of bullshit is this T-shirt. That T-shirt says "Star Wars is dead" because it's just the truth, man. Our logo on our logo on a T-shirt. We got something I think every gamer should have, which is this T-shirt here. So yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. I make it all myself, and I get ideas from my friends here, like Cam and Data. Yeah, if you guys want some cool stuff that will probably weird out the rest of the world, now you know a good place to look for that. On that note, I'm going to end the stream. So everyone, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, this has been Cast in the Shadows, and remember to treat others how you want to.